I'm Jim Check. You're watching Now Media. With me, Jerry Redman, and we're here with the REMAX Report.
Hey, Jim, thank you very much for having us back in again today.
And things are looking up, eh?
You know what? We're trending upwards, which is a bit of a nice sign to see here compared to last year and the last few months. We're definitely starting to uptick every month a little bit.
There you go. We got a slide to look at here. You want to look at the average selling price?
Yeah, so we brought the slides a little bit different this time. So we just wanted to kind of show a couple things with this slide. Is that, you know, townhouses, condos, and single-family homes and lot sales, all of them are trending up over last year. You know, condos up 10% average price over last year. Townhomes, again, 10% over last year as well, but lot sales too. We're finally starting to see some lot sales happen again, which is nice to see.
That's good to see, like the lot sales. So that means people are actually going to start building again too.
There's definitely going to be some, I think we'll start to see some homes come up for sale now, some spec home being built again. It's not running off mad or anything like that, but we're starting to see it trend upwards, which is nice. But the line below it, which is kind of interesting, is the list to sell ratios. You know, so many buyers are perceiving right now that they can go in and ask 10 or 15% off the price of a home. Where right now, on a single family home or a condo, you're only seeing about a 3% on average drop off the list price. So if homes are priced properly right now, they are selling, and they're selling relatively close to their list price. A little bit more of a drop, on lots and stuff like that on the prices, but the condos and townhomes and single families are staying pretty strong to their asking price.
The one that's interesting to me is the condo one. There was a bit of a glut in the condos with the new ones, and then so that's interesting to see that that's actually picking up.
There is a bit of a glut, and the other thing with the condos too right now is we are actually seeing, you know, the amount of sales are dropping down. Days on market are actually going up a little bit. But our current inventory has also jumped up dramatically since last year. It's up by almost a little over 20%.
And that's the new stuff that just came online, the Mobalas, the Cabans, and the
a lot of that stuff being resold.
Well, Moval is actually not online right now. But,
no, but One Water is starting to, not One Water, sorry.
Water Street?
Water by the Park.
Water by the Park.
They are just starting to transfer title now on those ones. So I think we'll start to see a few of those come up in the next little while.
Is that both towers ready or just the one tower?
I believe it's the one tower that they're moving into one, and I believe it's the shorter one from the picture and the write-up that I read about it. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds here in the next little bit, but I'd like to try to get in there and have a conversation.
Yeah, we should try to get in there for, like, because we did Caban so far and we did Aqua, right? The Caban property was just amazing, right? With the amenities in that one was pretty sweet, right?
Actually, that really surprised me how much they had for amenities in Caban. I thought it was really nice. I mean, Aqua, unfortunately, we were probably in there a little bit earlier to get
because we didn't get to see the full
example of their amenities, but both of those really nice projects. And I quite like the look of the Water by the Park as well. I think they've done some nice jobs with disguising and hiding the parkade part of it through some kind of screening and artwork that they've done on it. So I think that the building fits in quite well down there.
It's going to be interesting to see, because that's a really high density one, because those are very tall, and what that will do to that area, because that's going to bring a lot of people downtown too, right?
It's going to be a lot of people downtown here over the next little while. When you start to think about all the buildings that have opened up down there, it's good. I think it's great for
downtown's starting to fill out like more of an urban center as opposed to like kind of spotty, right? Because if you look at the Brooklyn area with Brooklyn and then what is it, Bernard on the Park or Bernard on the whatever it's called, Bernard something, right? Bernard Block maybe or
something.
There's
too many of them now that I can't keep track of them. But you know what I found quite interesting lately is just doing some wandering around and riding our bikes through the town is how many people are in the parks. And I'm just, part of me believes it has to be with all the condo living that people are going down to the beaches for picnics in the evening or whenever. But our parks have sure been busy this summer and early spring as well, which is a
and
great
that one's
sign.
Just starting to fill out too, right? The one right there on the water. They're just starting to move into that one. Cabana is completely in. They're moved in, but there's still lots of empty units in there. That was a lot of people that probably bought Airbnbs, and that's probably where some of that stuff's come online. Aqua. Nick was saying it's starting to fill out a little bit there now, but and they got a couple of towers to come online as well.
They do, those are. It'll be interesting to see because that's going to change that area a lot. There's going to be a lot more traffic down in that area, which is.
They've got lots of commercial in there too, right? So that whole trendy area there from about Mission Creek in all the way up into just past, well, the hospital really is kind of like a trendy kind of area now, right?
Yeah, because there's another building that's, I know they're doing some DPs on down in the South Pandosy area as well. There'll be some more condos and I don't know if they're apartments. I believe they're all going to be resale condos down there.
And then that Kirkhoff was building some stuff. Those are mostly rentals, though, right? That was Westcorp, I think. That was the old RV park.
The Hiawatha Park there.
Park,
yeah, I believe that's a lot of rentals in there. And
Yeah.
supposed to be a mix, I believe, but the parkade they built in there is unbelievable.
Yeah.
For the buildings, you don't really see the buildings in the back, but there's a lot of buildings been built in the back.
Yeah, I've been in there. I've actually looked at some of those units there.
Have you?
Yeah, and it. I think they've slowed down a bit. I think the rental market is kind of like there's a lot of stuff coming on the rental market. There's a lot of stuff. So something we haven't seen in Kelowna for a long time is incentives, right, to move in.
Well,
like 3 months rent and different things.
Yeah,
right?
Vacancy rates up over 7%.
And it's actually probably a little higher when I talked to a couple of developers. That's the official number, but the number's a little bit higher probably.
Well, I think because they don't really take, when they do their numbers from CMHC, they don't actually take all of the units into factor for it. So definitely an opportunity now. I think we're going to start to see, well, we have started to see rents come down already. Yeah. And especially when you factor in how a lot of these guys are giving away incentives to move in.
So I mean, I think a lot of them want to do the incentives first because then, like the people don't complain that signed a lease earlier and say, why is that guy getting a better deal than I got, right? So that's going to start to shift as the incentives kind of, encourage people to go in.
And there's a lot of rental buildings that are partially built right now as well that are coming up. So this feeding of that rental market is not going to end soon at all, I don't think. So
there's lots on the west side too, like in that...
right off of Carrington.
Yeah, tons in that area too. And then when Troika has that development down along the lake too, what's that area called now? Slips my mind.
West Kelowna?
West Kelowna. You go down West Side Road there a bit, and then it's right in there, right? And that's because the Westcorp has a development in there as well.
Right. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rental opportunity. And I think what will drive a little bit of a shortage for, single family. A lot of these developers that we're doing, not single family, but a lot of condos and townhomes switch gears totally into the rental market. Yeah. And so we're going to see, I think we will, once we can chew through what we've got, we're going to see a bit of a lag because, as you know, everything with getting approvals for new buildings and stuff don't happen overnight.
It takes a while, right? And they are breaking ground on that UBCO building now. Like they are starting to build that building too, and that's going to be mostly rentals as well, right? The one right downtown where the old bike shop was, right?
Yeah, and then they broke ground the other day at the new hotel out of the airport. Broke ground on that one. So
there you go.
Lots of stuff happening in this town.
I didn't see that one, yeah. So yeah, that's a great. So condo market, I guess it's decent, right? There is some inventory. There's lots to choose from, I guess.
There's lots to choose from for sure. Price points, there's still some bargains there to be found as well, just like in all of it. You can still hunt out the odd person that's a little bit more motivated. But if we kind of pop off to the next slide here, that just shows the sale trend over the last 12 months. It is interesting to see where we are doing a bit of total sales. So we're seeing that uptrend, right? We started to see a bit of a strengthening in October when our first rate cuts happened. Then of course we get into our December, January slowdown. But if you look at it from February, we haven't had anything. This is when Trump started his rhetoric and everything like that. Put a lot of people on pause, but we're still seeing a consistent uptick in our sales that are happening in the Okanagan. So to me, this is everything we're seeing just points to the start of the market moving in the right direction. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not like we're going to all of a sudden jump everything up a bunch. But I do believe that if we do enter the fall with any rate reductions, we'll start to see these even climb even more. So I think people are getting used to the instability, I guess, in our economy with our political
just like anything, right?
Leaders. Yeah, we're comfortable with it now. We know we've got a bit of a mess.
We know Captain Chaos lives south of the border.
Exactly. So we're going to get on with things. So it's nice to see these numbers starting to trend upwards for sure.
And that's interesting. So that's an opportunity actually if you're prepared when like instead of like having to rush because when in the heat of the market there are people who are just bidding over 100,000, no inspections, none of that stuff. So now you have the opportunity to kind of look around and see things and then maybe upgrade or move up in your housing. If you're in a condo, move into a house or something like that. Sure.
You know what, as we've talked before, I think, Jim, in the past, is if you're thinking about moving up in price point in the market, you want to do it when the market's down. Yeah. If you're going to jump up $300,000 or $400,000 in the value of a house move, well, that house is, if everything's down 10%, that house is down an extra $40,000 compared to your place if you're 400 more. So it's a great time to be moving up in the market for sure.
Yeah, because you're taking Because if your house dropped, which sometimes people have a tough time with, the house that you were going to buy dropped as well, right?
Right.
So it's just a relative thing, right? So
It's like when you're staying in the same market, it really doesn't matter what the market does. If you've lost, they've lost. If you've gained, they've gained. So there is no magic pill when you're staying in the same market to think you're going to get a real good win somewhere unless you're moving up.
And the good thing is the higher end stuff fell more than the stuff in the lower end, so you actually probably can get more value that way.
You definitely can. If your house is, like I said, 500,000 more, and it dropped 10%, well, that's $50,000 that house dropped in your house. So there's a good opportunity to move up in this type of market. And one of the things that's always happened, and these trends happen, after 35 years, I've been in an unfortunate position to be through these trends more than once or twice. When they start to change, if it's going up, the seller reacts before the buyer does. And the same thing happens when it's going down. The buyer reacts before the seller does. So that's why we're at that level. Right now, we're in the bottom of that trough. We're starting to trend upwards.
And the graph clearly shows that.
The graph's showing it for sure. And just chatted with one of our agents this morning before I came over here, and he goes, it feels like we've got our spring market now. So it'll be interesting to see as we move through this next couple of months. I do believe that we're not going to see an interest rate cut in July, I don't think, from everything I'm reading and seeing out there from the Bank of Canada. But there's still lots of discussion. We're going to see one or two in the fall.
Yeah. And I think the U.S. is going to cut here right away, and I think that'll lead the Canadian banks to cut. I do believe they need to cut right now, but I don't know if they will because of Captain Chaos. But
did you read how many billions of dollars they figure that the tourism trade has cost the U.S.? I just read an article this morning, and the number was staggering. It was absolutely staggering what they feel that the U.S. has lost in tourism.
Well, even a lot of the border towns really rely on the Canadian customer too, right? If you think even throughout the ages, actually, Orville, a lot of Canadian customers, the Seattle area, that Tulalip or whatever that was. I remember going to that mall. They said it was 97% was Canadian customers, right? So so it doesn't help, right? All this chaos doesn't help. I know they put up numbers to make it work, but it definitely hurts a lot of people. It may help some people, but it hurts a lot more people than it helps, probably.
Yeah, they figure that they don't even think if they were to sort out all the trade issues right now and get tourism back to the U.S. in this article, they figure that they will not even come back to pre-pandemic levels of tourism in the U.S. And the amount of Canada is down dramatically. Europe is down about 4 or 5%. We're down in the 30% range in the article, if I remember the number correctly. Wow. It was a staggering adjustment to tourism dollars heading down south. So, which is nice because that money's staying in Canada. Yeah. We're talking to a lot of people here that's saying that the parties and stuff that are coming here golfing from back in Ontario area is bigger than it's ever been. So, which is nice to see that Canadian elbows up and deal by Canadian is definitely paying off for us.
Yeah, no, and I think the opportunity in the Okanagan, and we've seen markets like Vancouver and Toronto suffer a bit in that condo, especially that small condo market, suffer quite a bit. But Kelowna is always going to be that destination or an opportunity for people, right, to say, okay, so we can look at the Kelowna market. When it was frothy, it was just crazy, right? I mean, it's tough for realtors when you're selling too, right? When you're trying to, I remember talking to a few realtors when you're writing, there's 10 people writing an offer and it's almost like a lottery, right? And it's really tough to advise clients in that market as well.
Yeah, and in that market too, when you've written your 10th offer on a home before you get one, you're not buying your home you want to buy. You're just buying them. You're buying a house.
Just grabbing whatever's available, right? So,
and, what I've said with that and market that we had is I think we will see a transition where lots of people will sell those homes because they didn't buy what they wanted. They just got it in the market. They'll sell and then move into what they want to move into.
Take that opportunity right now.
Yeah, you'll see I think people own for a shorter period of time than they traditionally own for before their next move.
Yeah. And what we did with Aqua and Caban by showing those are great things. And like you said, we're going to try and show another property here and showing people what they can get. Because if you look at, if you're out there in the condo market, go look at those because that'll give you an idea of what you're getting and not getting for the money that you're going to pay, right? So that's a good benchmark, right?
For sure. It's nice and it's always nice to see some different product as well. So
yeah, I know it's pretty sweet. The amenities that are in those properties are pretty sweet, and some of the older properties obviously don't have those types of amenities, but a lot of the newer ones are putting in those amenities. I know that Movala, when they're ready, they got some pretty sweet amenities too.
Yeah, lots of commercial at right at your bottom door.
Yeah, like that commercial / residential is really kind of the way to do it. And most of the stuff happening, I guess, the past 10 years is kind of that mix, right?
A lot of it is for sure, especially in the South Pandozi area. I mean, it's a great walkable neighborhood. The corridor along Abbott Street for cycling and walking, it's amazing how many people are.
Well, that street's won a few times, like Communities in Bloom or whatever, right? Like that's a beautiful area there for sure, right?
We are lucky where we live.
I mean, we have the live shot here right now, but it's all fuzzy in the background. But it is absolutely beautiful when you look down the valley here. And right now, smoke free, so it's been good so far. We actually have nice milder weather right now, actually, as opposed to like
nice great rain the other day too. That hopefully puts everything off the bay for a little bit longer.
And you golfed yesterday? Was it yesterday you golfed? Or?
I did,
and it's nicer to golf when it's not like 38, right?
Yeah, you know what? Nobody was cooking. There was actually some people wearing some jackets yesterday morning.
There you go, right?
Out in that tournament. It was a fun tournament. It was the YLW golf tournament, raising money for their.
And that was out at the Bear and Quail.
Bear and Quail.
Beautiful golf courses too. Wow, lots of people, right? So, I mean, some of the stuff we have here: golf, wineries, just hiking, fishing. I don't know, like it's kind of like an outdoor paradise, right?
It is. I was chatting with someone at the golf tournament yesterday that moved back to Kelowna after being away for about 15 years, and she said that she loves our city now because it has everything. She doesn't feel that she has to leave to go somewhere else to find good food, good amenities, things to do. It's all here right now.
It's grown up. It's grown up.
Definitely has.
That's awesome. And anything else you want to add today, or was there another chart? We had another slide, I think, right?
I think we do. And this one just basically kind of shows single family comparison of June 2024 versus 2025 side by side, just to see the little bit of changes that you're seeing. But the biggest thing on there is sales by month and sales year to date were up, which is just starting to show that strength.
There you go, right?
Coming back. So, if you've been a buyer sitting on the fence waiting for things to change and going, geez, when is the right time? When is the right time? I'd be talking to your agent now and saying, you know what, this is probably the time to start looking because, like I said, the sellers will react to the change quicker than the buyers will.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks healthy for sure, right?
Yep,
so,
definitely.
And then interest rates aren't horrible. I mean, if you look back over a longer period of time, they're actually amazing, right?
They are. It's just nobody remembers the 7%. They only remember that you can get a 1.5% mortgage. So.
I know when I was going to college, the professor there said, like, if you can get anything under 10, you grab it with both hands, right?
Yeah. Well, I got an amortization book given to me in high school in one of our math classes, and the lowest interest rate in it was 7.5%.
Yeah, no, it was.
So, we're seeing interest rates.
I think when we had, like, some people were getting at the variable rate there. Well, actually, some people with term, I think, I know somebody that got like 1.75 or I think a 3 or 5 year term.
5 year at 0.75% for 5-year money.
Holy cow, right?
Picked it up.
Just think if you'd got that like the US, a 30-year deal on that, right?
Yeah, exactly. The unfortunate part for it, I think it comes due next summer for them. But,
yeah, that's going to be a shocker, but yeah. But I mean, if you, two ways to look at it. Like, we got a sweetheart deal for 5 years. And now I got to pay something more, what is more the average, right?
And they were smart because they kept their payment based on their old interest rates. So
there you go. So they were paying down that mortgage, right? Paying down that principal, right?
So there's definitely lots of great opportunity for buyers right now. And
if you're considering buying a rental property, might not be a bad time to look at that as well, right? So although there's some rental properties out there, you're going to have to be creative. But if you've got some family members to rent it too.
Exactly. Definitely a little bit more challenging.
Maybe kick the kids out and rent it to them.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. That's one way to get the kids out of the house. Buy them a house.
Does it always work?
They always come back.
Exactly, to raid your fridge.
Always come back. Anything else you want to chat about today?
No, I think we probably covered it off pretty good today. Thanks, Jim.
It's awesome. Thank you. And we do thank you for watching Now Media.